Okay, you have the Los Angeles Chargers. Last year they just missed the playoffs, and this year they definitely improved their defense with Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson. Still think their defense needs a bit of work, but their offense is good as ever. And they still have Justin Herbert, who's only going to get better. So you have your first game versus the Raiders. Raiders another tough team, especially with Adams and Waller and Renfro. But I think the Chargers offense is good enough to go right to the Raiders defense, which isn't that great. And this being a divisional game, the Chargers having a home field advantage, the Chargers. Then you have them versus the Kansas City Chiefs on a Thursday nighter. Chiefs definitely have home field advantage, but Chiefs have a bunch of new pieces, especially their wide receivers and their defense, losing a couple of their defensive pieces like Ward and Mahomes losing Tyreek Hill. And Chargers, they kept their core intact, and they have just as talented as a team, maybe even slightly more talented than the Chiefs now. So early on, I'm going to take the Chargers. Then you have them versus the Jaguars. Jaguars, they're still rebuilding. Definitely a trap game for the Chargers. So better watch out for that. But the Jaguars, they're getting a bunch of new pieces. They have a new-ish head coach. And then the Chargers have home field advantage, so I'm going to take the Chargers. Then you have the Texans, another trap game. They have Davis Mills, they have Brandon Cooks, but the rest of the team's not that good. And last year the Texans upset the Chargers. I don't see that happening this year. And this one, I think it's going to be closer than people think, especially Houston with the home field advantage. But their team is just not ready. I'm going to take the Chargers. Then you have Denver versus the Browns. Baker Mayfield, no, not Deshaun Watson may be out for the whole year. So this one's definitely become a lot easier to predict. But the Browns still have a very talented team. Even with Brissett as QB, they still have a great offensive line, two great running backs, good wide receivers. They have Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward on their defense. So I think this one's definitely going to be a tough game for the Chargers. Chargers, I still think they're good. They're more talented than the Browns, the Deshaun Watson-less Browns. But I think this one's going to be very close, and I'm going to trust Justin Herbert over Jacoby Brissett. I think this is going to come down to the final draw. So I'm going to take the Chargers. You have them versus the Broncos, another divisional rival, another team that got much better. They have Russell Wilson. The Broncos got Russell Wilson. They still have a very good team. Chargers usually do well against the Broncos. And the Chargers, they have just as talented. Like I said, they still have Justin Herbert, who has done well versus the Broncos. And a defense that added Bosa and Mack and J.C. Jackson. And Chargers have home field advantage. I'm going to take the Chargers. Them versus the Seahawks. Yes, Denver's another rebuilding team. Seahawks just aren't that good. They're starting Locke or Smith. Their defense isn't that good. They lost a bunch of pieces. I'm gonna take the Chargers. Then you have a bye. Then you have them versus the Falcons. Falcons, another rebuilding team. Chargers have a pretty easy first 8 games. They have another rebuilding team. I think this one's gonna be Atlanta's home field advantage, but Atlanta is one of the worst defenses, and I think Herbert and Chargers defense offense gonna have a great games. And coming off a bye, take the Chargers. Then you have them versus the 49ers. I think this one depends on how well Trey Lance does, but either way, 49ers have a talented team that I think will give trouble. Their defense, they have Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, and they got Ward, and they improved their secondary. So I think 49ers defense is good enough to slow down the Chargers. Offensively, they have Trey Lance, they still have Debo, they still have Kittle, might cause problems. Chargers, I think this will put up a good fight, but I'm going to pick their first loss, and I'm going to take the 49ers. Then you have the Chiefs. Chiefs, um, Chiefs do well against the divisional rival, and I think Chiefs are talented enough to split with the Chargers. And I made the Chargers win the first game, so even with the home field advantage, I'm taking the Chiefs. Then you have Denver versus the Cardinals. Definitely a trap game for the Chargers. Kyler Murray, I think, can cause problems for the Chargers defense. And they got DeAndre Hopkins back, but I don't think the Cardinals offense is enough. It's enough to help them elevate their mediocre average defense. And I think Herbert and crew will do well against the not great Arizona Cardinals defense. Other than Murphy, they don't really have anybody else. Other than Baker and Murphy on the Cardinals defense is pretty much it. unless I'm forgetting somebody, which I don't think I am. So I'm gonna take the Chargers. Then you have the Raiders. Like I said, the AFC West is really competitive this year. I don't see any team sweeping the other. And the Raiders, another talented team with Adams, Waller, Renfro, Carr, all their superstars. So I'm gonna take the Las Vegas. Then you have them versus the Dolphins. Dolphins, I think team is pretty talented. They have a good defense, blitz heavy defense, which I think can cause problem for Herbert. And offensively, it all depends on how well Tua does. And last time they played, Tua did well against the Chargers. And I don't think the Chargers defense is good enough to stop Hill and Waddle. Wilson. And this one's going to be close. I'm going to pick the upset. I'm going to pick the Dolphins. Then you have them versus the Titans. So coming off a loss against back-to-back losses and a 1-4 record, I think the Chargers will have more fire. Titans, I think Derrick Henry will. I think the Chargers improve their run defense, so Derrick Henry might not have the greatest of days. And offensively, the Titans defense is definitely good, but Chargers offense is better, so I'm gonna take Chargers. We have them versus the Colts, another tough team with a good run game, Jonathan Taylor. And honestly, the Colts defense I think is very solid and can slow down Herbert. And with Matt Ryan, I think he's a veteran and can cause problems for the Chargers defense. And with home field advantage, I'm gonna take. You have them versus the Rams. Rams are the Super Bowl champions. Even though this is technically a home game for the Chargers, it's not a home game. Rams are going to have the home field advantage. And the Rams, I just like the Rams being more continuity. I like Sean McVay over Brandon Staley, so I'm going to take the Rams. Then you have the Broncos. Like I said, I don't think any divisional rival will sweep the others and have the Chargers winning first. So I'm going to have the Broncos with the home field advantage winning. So in the end, I have them going 10-7, 3-3 in the division, 5-3 at home, and 4 away.